Okay, that Laguna agate nodule is done, and all I have to say is, wow, holy cow, that is, this may be the best one we've cut so far. Look at this, this is the rest of the rock. Well, hello rockhounds, Lapidary lovers, Mike here, welcome back to my channel. Time to do some more rock cutting. I've got a box of rocks here that I need to do some cutting on, and there's a variety of rocks here. There's some I found on my recent rock hounding trip out to Arizona, where I went rock hounding all over Arizona. Plus, I hit a couple of rock shops. So I'll put a link to that series of videos, the playlist in the upper right. You can check that out if you like. But I got some rocks in here that came from Arizona. I got some really intensely red Jasper here. Some, I believe, petrified wood that's been agatized and jasperized, if jasperized is a word, but it looks like there's parallel bands of agate and jasper in this. I want to cut into that and see what that looks like. I found this agate. Doesn't really look like an agate, I know, but it's got areas of fortification banding and little bits of chalcedony in it. I want to cut this rock and see. I want to cut this rock and see if these areas of chalcedony expand out inside. That would be nice. This might be a really pretty agate inside, or it might be a dud. You never know. You don't know until you cut, so you got to cut. Let's see. Speaking of agates, I've got a little nodule here. I don't know if it's an agate or not. It kind of looks like an agate nodule, but it might not be. Or it might be a fossil in the middle of it. It's hard to say with these little nodules. But I'm going to cut it, and we'll see what's inside. Again, it could be a stud or a dud. It's got a little kind of window going right through it there. So it's kind of weird. Pick that up thinking maybe agate. So we'll find out. Speaking of agates, I've got a piece of lysite agate here that got at a rock shop, and I want to take some cuts off of it. So, make some slabs. So we'll cut on that. I've got some Laguna agate here that my buddy Jim gave me. Very colorful stuff. I'll wet all this stuff down and give you a look at it wet. And so some of this stuff I'm going to cut up into small enough pieces to tumble, and some of it I'm going to try and slab it to make cabs out of. But that's another piece of Laguna agate. I got a feeling it's going to be really pretty inside, even though it's kind of plain on the outside. Got some Baker Ranch agate nodules here my buddy Jim gave me. So we're going to cut these and see what's inside them. Small little guys, but hopefully they're very pretty inside. We'll see. And then I got a couple of Montana moss agates here that hopefully they are nice and mossy on the inside, but it's really hard to tell with these until you cut into them. I'll get my big bright flashlight out and we'll see if we can see anything inside, and that'll help me figure out how to orient them in the saw to try and cut them, but I can't really tell. So we got those, and if there's time, this video doesn't get too long, then just maybe we'll cut this great big softball-sized geode over here, Mexican geode I picked up at Rock Shop in Arizona. So, all right, so that is our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to try and cut all these rocks. And to get all these rocks cut, I think we're going to have to get out at least 2 different saws so I can work in parallel. The big rocks, of course, are going to have to be cut on the big slab saw, okay? Some of these smaller rocks I can cut on the small Harbor Freight tile saw. And then I might even get out my bigger tile saw if necessary, my bigger wet tile saw. Yeah, we'll see what we've got inside these rocks. All right, let me wet these down a little bit and zoom in a bit so you can see what we're dealing with here. Some of these Laguna agates, I can tell, are going to be really pretty. I can see fortification banding. I can see all kinds of neat stuff in them, but It's really hard to tell what's going on in this one. There's hints, but no good info. The Baker Ranch agates, a couple of them have little windows inside where I can see that there is chalcedony in there. So, yeah, I think they're going to be cool. I think they're going to be cool. By maybe an agate nodule? I don't know. It's toss up. Don't know if there's anything good in there or not. This thing right here, it's got some intensely red jasper and some gray or gray-blue lines of chalcedony in it. I'm pretty sure this was petrified wood that has been, broken up, and that's all that's left that I found out there. But that could be really pretty on the inside, or not. We'll see. I got some really intensely red jasper here. Found this out hiking and rock hunting in an area where I get a lot of petrified wood. But this big lump of intensely red jasper just jumped right up out at me, and I'm like, I'm going to take a couple slices off of that and see how it looks. Lysite agate. Yeah, we got this at a rock shop, I believe in Crawford, Nebraska, at the Prairie Agate Rock Shop. And yeah, that needs to be sliced. We need to make some thin slices out of that and see if we can get anything cab worthy out of it. So this right here, I found the same trip as I found this and I found this. And this was buried in the ground and sticking up to where I could just barely see these little areas of chalcedony in it with little tiny bitty fortification bands in them. And I thought, I wonder if those open out inside this nodule. So I picked it up, and I guess we'll find out whether there's anything inside that nodule. And then, of course, we've got these two Montana moss agates right here, which, again, I think I got at the Prairie Agate Rock Shop in Crawford, Nebraska. There should still be a link to my visiting that store in the upper right. Okay, so that, and the geode over here, which is always a crapshoot. You never know until you cut it what you've got. Again, it could be a stud or it could be a dud. I guess we'll find out. So anyway, let me get the saws ready to go, and we will start cutting. So we're going to use our Harbor Freight tile saw for the smaller stuff, and we're going to use our big 16-inch lapidary saw, which I call Lazarus, for the bigger stuff. I'll give you a look at Lazarus and explain how he got his name. Yep, so here's Lazarus. I call him Lazarus because I brought it back from the dead a couple of times so far. We bought it years ago, is used, in terrible condition, broken. It was ancient when we got it. Several owners, I'm sure. I fixed it, brought it back to life. Okay. Used it a little bit, gave it to my stepson. He used it a couple of years. At the end of a couple of years, it was a complete wreck again. So I had to rebuild it again, bring it back to life again, and, well, here we are. Now it's kind of my saw. Technically it's still his, but I'm the only one who ever uses it, so I maintain it. Speaking of maintaining, look how nice and clean it is inside Lazarus. Yes, I just cleaned him out, put some fresh oil in. This won't last long. We'll get a couple of rocks in and it's going to look like a wreck again. That's just the way these saws are. But, you don't have to clean them up after every rock. You can do a lot of cutting before you clean them up. So, anyway, Lazarus got a 16-inch blade on him. We can cut some pretty big rocks. So, okay. Let me get set up to start cutting some. So, where do I want to start? Well, I'm really curious about this agate nodule. I want to see if there's anything good inside it. So I think I'm going to start with a cut on Lazarus with this. I'll see if I can get it bolted into Lazarus so I can cut it lengthwise through here and see if there's anything interesting showing up. If there is, these lengthwise pieces should maybe be thin enough to cut on the small saw up here. So let me get this mounted in Lazarus and we'll get the cut started. And then while that's happening, we'll cut some small stuff on the little saw. Alright, I've got that rock mounted in Lazarus the way I want to cut it lengthwise here. It's kind of an awkward shape. It's very round, but hopefully I have it in here tight enough that the cutting force and vibration aren't going to make it pop out. I guess we'll find out. So let's fire up Lazarus and cut it and see. This is probably going to take about 15 minutes. Let me go find something else to do over at the little saw while we're waiting. So I hope you'll be able to hear me over the background noise of Lazarus running. And a big fan that's blowing on me because it's about 92 degrees out here right now and we're only headed higher. Okay, so I thought I'd start with this maybe agate, maybe not nodule I found when I was out hiking. So I'm going to cut it on the small saw here. Now, before everybody jumps in the comments and worries about me cutting my fingers off, this is a smooth rim, diamond sintered saw blade. It is not sharp. It has no teeth, okay? Cuts through rocks like nobody's business, but I'd really have to try to hurt myself with it, okay? So don't worry about my fingers. We're going to be fine. Okay, let me cut this nodule and we'll see what it looks like inside. Well, I didn't quite get that right down the center, but sometimes the blade goes where the blade wants to go. Well, somewhat disappointing. I would say if there's agate there, there's not very much. That's more like a chert nodule, I'd say. I'll give you a close-up look at it, and we'll find something else to cut while we're waiting on Lazarus to finish. Yeah, that's not too exciting. I may throw it in my pile of stuff to tumble and see how it turns out after tumbling. But really, yeah, nothing special. Alright, let's find something else to cut. Alrighty, so here's our first cut off the big saw, and unfortunately it turned out to be another dud. Yeah, there's lots of little bits of chalcedony in it, but they are little. You can see a long streak of it going into the rock here. I could see that over here. And here's on the other side, there's a streak of it. But there's some very red pockets of chalcedony here and there in it too. But they're small. They're really small. I was hoping this stuff would open out into something big, but it's not. So I don't really think there's any point in continuing to try and cut on this and hope for finding something better. It seems to just have small pockets of chalcedony in it. So we'll set that aside and we'll see if we can find something better. So what's the next victim for Lazarus? Well, I think we will do this chunk of lysite agate right here that I've got. And this side over here looks like it's got some interesting stuff going on. So I think I'm going to try and get some thin slabs off of here that might make for nice cabbing in the future. We'll see. So let me load this up in Lazarus and get it cutting. And then we'll cut some more stuff on the little saw. Alright, I've got the rock mounted in Lazarus. I just want to, the first cut, I want to clean up this edge where it's broken. And we'll look at that heel and I'll look at the face of the rock after it's cut and we'll see if it's worth taking more slabs off. If not, I might turn it 90 or 180 degrees and take some cuts until I find something that looks pretty good. So we'll see what we get. Let me fire up Lazarus, get this cut going. And get back over to the little saw. Alright, I hope you can hear me over Lazarus. But hey, after that dud, let's see if we can cut something that's a little more exciting. I got a piece of Laguna agate here I got from my friend Jim. It's got some interesting banding in it, and some interesting colors. It's too thin to try and slab and cap, but what I'd like to do is just cut it up into pieces small enough to tumble. And I should get some really pretty rocks out of it. So I'm just going to cut it. How do I want to cut it here? I'm thinking, looks like most of the color is over here. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut it right through here. And I'll tumble both pieces, although I think this is the one that the most colors and patterns in it. But we'll see what I get with that one too. You never know. Once it tumbles a little bit, might expose some stuff. Let me get it cut. Okay. Oh yeah. This piece has some nice banding in it too. This is the piece I thought was going to be ugly, but now that's going to tumble up nice. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll give you a closer up look at him here. Yeah, so here's a close-up look at this Laguna agate. So this is the part I thought was kind of plain looking, but that's going to tumble up gorgeous. Look at that. And then this one over here, this is the one where I could see the colors and bands in it. This is really, really going to come out cool. So yeah, okay, I will put these two in my pile of rocks to tumble, and I think these are going to turn out very, very pretty after they're tumbled. Look at those bands. Nice. Alrighty, the light-side agate slices are done in Lazarus, and I couldn't be much more pleased with them. Look at that. Look at that. Is that beautiful or what? Now these are wet with saw oil. That kind of give you some idea what these would look like polished. So here's the heel up here. But look at it. This one here fractured because it has a big internal void. But look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I think this one here is my favorite with all those little eyes in it and fortification banding. And then down here we've got all this plumy, mossy stuff. Multicolored. Wow. That is beautiful. Holy cow. Yeah, that is nice. That is really nice. I think there's a couple of cab-worthy spots on this piece. One or two on this piece. Oh yeah, look at that. That's gorgeous. And I've got this much of the rock left. There's the cut face. It's getting small. I might have to start taking cuts on it this way, but I think I'm going to set this rock aside for now. I've got some nice pieces out of it already. We'll just save the rest of it for the future. Alright, let's find another victim for Lazarus, because this worked out good. Alright, so far we've had a couple of duds and a couple of studs. So let's see what we want to cut next. So I'm thinking this great big Montana agate right here. Now I've been looking at it with a really bright flashlight. There's a couple of windows where I can see inside, and you can see how translucent that chalcedony is. But I can't really tell exactly what's inside. The crust on the outside is just not letting me see. Now I can see that there's some banding here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it in the saw like this, and I'm going to start taking cuts across it like this and see what we get, cutting slabs off. So let me get it mounted in Lazarus and get it started, and then we'll cut some more small stuff, okay? All right, while Lazarus is cutting that agate in there, on the small saw, I want to see what this looks like on the inside. Now, it's pretty big. I don't think I can cut it like lengthwise, but really, I want to cut across the grain in this anyway. I think this has grain because petrified wood. Used to be petrified wood anyway. So I want to cut end off, maybe get a couple slices off the end and see how they look, and see if maybe this would be worthy of even putting in the big saw and taking some slices off to maybe make cabs out of in the future. So let me get it up here on the small saw. We'll cut the end off, maybe take a couple cuts on it and have a look at it. take a look at that. Well, I have to say, it's not as impressive inside as I'd hoped it would be. The cut end right there. Compared to what it looks like on the outside, wow. I mean, it's really impressive looking on the outside. And I was hoping it would be really impressive on the inside. But I don't think so. I think this stone would be better for tumbling. I think this stone would tumble up really pretty because of how well it looks on the outside. I might cut it in half so I'll have two. Let me see if I can cut it in half on this small saw. It might be just a little bit too big. Maybe give the old college try. Maybe do it in two cuts. One top, one bottom. See if we can get it. There we got it. Yeah, the banding on the inside is just not all that pretty. Maybe if I'd cut it on a bias and exposed it, but even then I'm not sure. But it's got lots of cool chalcedony and bands of red jasper on the outside. So I'm going to throw these two in my pile of rocks to tumble, and I'll bet they'll turn out really pretty. Well, Lazarus is going to be a while cutting that big agate. So what else do we got? Well, I got a couple of these Baker Ranch agate nodules. So I'm really curious as to what's going on inside them. I can see little windows in them where there's some chalcedony there, but I need to cut them. I think I'm going to cut this one right down this long axis. And this one, yeah, I'll cut it through the window. And we'll see. So let me get to cutting these and see if they're studs or duds. Might have shattered a little bit there at the end, but oh yeah, hey. That's kind of cool. Alright, let me cut the other one. I'll give you a close-up look at both of them. Hopefully this one's nice. Alright, I'll give you a close-up look at these. So here's the first one. That's got some neat colors in it. Wow. And here's the second one. That's got some subtle banding in it, maybe a little bit of water line up there. Yeah, down there now. Those two halves would have went together. That's very cool. Thanks, Jim, for giving me these agate nodules. They're very pretty. I think they're going to tumble into really beautiful rocks. Cool. And Lazarus just stopped cutting. Let me see what I'm getting and see if I can get another slab off that thing. Alright, while we're waiting on Lazarus, that first slab came off, looked pretty good. So I cranked it in so we're getting another 1/4-inch slab. Maybe I can get 2-3 more slabs off it before I run out of travel on the saw. So we'll see how they look. I'll give you a look at them all together. Hey, those first two Baker Ranch agate nodules turned out so nice. Let's cut a couple more and see how they look. little off center on this one again. I will take a look at that in a minute. Let me cut the other one. Got a nice window in it. I can see where the chalcedony is. That one I was kind of guesstimating. Alright, let's take a look at these, see what we got here. Okay, this first one turned out really kind of plain on the inside. It doesn't really look like it's got a lot of chalcedony in it. I mean, I went off center on it, but really, I don't think there's any chalcedony in that one. I mean, it might be a pretty rock to tumble though, so I'll throw it in my collection of rocks to tumble. This one though, okay. This one we got really good here. We got some purple, shading into blue, shading into green chalcedony. Wow. Over here we got some really sort of dark brown stuff over here. Wow. So these two turned out, or this one turned out really good. So hey, we got 3 out of 4 of the Baker Ranch agates have turned out really well. So that's great. I mean, Meatloaf says 2 out of 3 ain't bad, so 3 out of 4 is even better by my math. All right, excellent. Alrighty, that Montana agate has been slabbed some in the saw. I tried to take one too many cuts off of it, and the stone turned in the clamp and locked up the saw. So, got 3 slabs off of it though. That's pretty cool. That's nice. Got some dark moss in it. Got some banding. That's cool. Oh yeah. Look at what's going on over here. Lots of fortification banding. Nice. And then in the rest of it, yeah, it almost looks like there's some red up there too. Wow, I didn't notice that before. As well as some dark moss in there. It might be worth it. Yeah, red. Might be worth it to cut this rock from this side in the future too. Because there's a lot of fortification banding in there on this side of the rock. That might be some cool stuff in there. Might be cab worthy. That's pretty cool. I'm liking that. Yeah, the closer I look at it, the more I see. That is seriously cool. I'm happy. Alright. Let's find another victim for Lazarus. And hopefully nothing was damaged when the rock jammed in there. Hopefully the travel still works. We'll see. So I've got this chunk of really intensely red Jasper here. Yeah, it's very red. And what do I want to do with it? Do I cut it from this side, or do I want to cut it along this face? I think I'm going to try and mount it in the saw so I can clean up this face, and then get a nice slice or two off of it and see how it looks. So let me get it in Lazarus, and we'll see if we can do that. Alright, I guess I need to find some more small stuff to cut. Well, I've got a box that I call unfinished business, and I throw rocks in that box that need to be cut, that I will cut the next time I have the saw out. There's big rocks and there's small rocks. So I pulled some of the smaller rocks out. Some of these are rocks I want to clean up before I tumble them. Like this one here, this is going to be really pretty. This is a solid lump of red Jasper. So I'm going to cut this into smaller pieces for tumbling. I'm going to cut off the ugly part just so it'll tumble quicker. I got a couple pieces here of TP Canyon agate. Get them wet for you. Get them all wet actually. But yeah, you can see the fortification banding in there, but there's a whole lot of just matrix here from the nodule. So I want to cut away the bulk of this matrix and just leave the pretty agate part to tumble. Same with this one. Here is a piece of petrified wood that I was tumbling. It's a really pretty piece. It's got, if you look at it close, it's got some amazing patterns in it. I had it all the way into stage 2 before I pulled it out and decided it just wasn't going to tumble up nice because it's just all pitted over here and nasty. Got some fissures up here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off the nasty parts of it, and then I'll try tumbling it again. And hopefully what parts that's left will turn out to be a really pretty rock with some really pretty colors and patterns in it. Then over here, we got a rock that's clearly got some agate in it. Got some colored stuff in it, some reds. So I think we found this hunting for lysite agate out in Wyoming. I think that's where we found this rock. This should be small enough that I can slice it on the small saw, and we'll get a look at what's going on inside it. See just what in the wide world of sports we got going on inside this rock. And if we're still waiting on Lazarus after we get done with these, I've got more small rocks in my unfinished business box, so we can get to them. So let me start by trimming up some of these while we're waiting. I'll start with this one. I'm going to cut off this nasty area here and just cut it into 2 stones that hopefully will tumble up nice. Yeah, get rid of that big concave bird's mouth there. That would take forever to tumble out, and the stone would get really small in the process, so. Alright, well that kind of shattered there. I was hoping for 2 stones more equally sized, but, well, we'll see how they come out when they tumble. Yeah, cleaning up rocks before I tumble them, that really speeds up the tumbling process, something wonderful. Rather than waiting for the rough grit to do its job. You know, you can just go at them with your trim saw. And get rid of the stuff that you don't want to tumble. There's nothing there. Yeah, there's nothing there. We can throw that out. And see if I can get even a little more off of this. You get rid of the stuff I don't want, stuff I do want. Yeah. That will tumble a lot quicker now. There we go. Alright. Alright, so let's see if we can clean up this piece of petrified wood, which otherwise is quite pretty. I'm going to try taking off this part right here. And there's an area here that's all fractured. I'm going to cut it off. See how it's going to look here. Oh, wow. Let me clean that up a little bit more. tumbler the trouble. Cut that off right there. You can even kind of, with your trim saw or flat lap, you can even kind of pre-shape them a little bit. Take off the sharp corners, kind of round them down a little bit. And the rocks will tumble a lot quicker that way. Alright, I'll give you a close-up look at this one because it's pretty. Wow. I knew it would be. That's why I wanted to tumble this rock. Yeah, check that out. Yeah, this is a really pretty rock. It's going to be gorgeous once it's finally tumbled, and now it will, now that I've cut this section off here, which is just all pitty and fractured and is never going to tumble up nice. But yeah, look what I exposed when I cut it. Wow, look at the colors. That's going to be a beautiful rock. So that will go back into my tumblers and we'll finish it up. And it's going to be gorgeous. Nice. All right, let's look at another rock from my unfinished business collection here. So I can see that this has got some sort of translucent chalcedony on this end, but then it gets into what looks like much darker colors. I'd like to know what's going on this side over here. So I think I'll try cutting it across here and see what it looks like. And yeah, I should be able to get a couple slices off of it if it looks good before I get into something too thick to go through this blade. So we'll give it a shot. Okay, that's cool. As you can see, it broke part way through, but I got an exposure of this side, which is what I wanted. I'll give you a close-up look at these pieces. Maybe try cutting another slice off. Yeah, so look at that. It's got some strange eyes of chalcedony in it, in a very red matrix there. So let me try taking another slice off. I'll try to take a thick enough one that hopefully it will hold together, because I think there's a fracture running through it. Yeah, that would be it right there. That's where it broke before. But we'll give it a shot, see what happens. Yeah, nice thick cut this time. Hard enough. Felt like agate. Oh yeah. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah. Nice. Very nice. Okay. I'll give you a good close-up look at this. This is nice. You get better, deeper into the stone, it gets better. Okay. Check out this piece I just cut off. It's a nice thick slab here. This I will probably tumble. Look at the fortification bandings in it. Very nice. Colors are amazing. Big blobs of red. And that is agate. That is not Jasper. This is a hard rock. That was difficult to cut. That's agate. Red agate in there. Very cool. And then let me show you the remainder of the stone here. Look at all that fortification banding in there. Wow. Very, very cool. That is very nice. And this is, I guess I'd tumble the rest of this rock. Alright, I have changed my mind. I got the close looking at it, and there's some interesting banding I can see on the outside over here. If that continues on the inside, this is going to be a really pretty rock that I could make maybe a small cab or two out of. So I'm going to take another thickish slab off of it, thick enough to cab anyway, and we'll see what it looks like. I mean, I got time waiting on Lazarus anyway. Always waiting on Lazarus. He's kind of slow. So let's do another cut, see what we get. Wow, that is really, really hard. We are into something super hard here. And even in spite of the water spray, which is getting all over me, this rock is getting really hot. Maybe it's because I'm not cutting into straight line. I'll bet that's the problem. I'm probably going a bit of an angle and pushing it against the side of the blade. Not my straightest cut ever. Alright, there we go. There we go. Alright. Well, I don't think it's cab worthy, but it's certainly pretty. I'll give you another close-up look. I think all these pieces are just going to get tumbled. They'll turn into pretty rocks, but I don't think they're cab worthy. Well, it just goes to show you that what's going on the outside of a rock doesn't necessarily translate to what's going on inside it, unfortunately. That's why you got to cut and find out. So the red banding I saw on the outside of the rock really turns into solid red on the inside, and then instead it's got these fine white fortification bandings in it. So, well, there you go, though. That's going to be pretty. I've got 3 nice pieces here I can tumble, and they'll be very pretty when they're done. Let's go see what's going on with Lazarus. Okay, the cutting on that intensely red Jasper is done, and I got a big surprise. It's not Jasper. It's Agate. Look at that. Look at that. Look how. Look at that. That's some transparent chalcedony in there. Some red, some orange, some yellow. Another big pocket of transparent chalcedony up there. Lots of pluminess in it. Mossy pluminess goodness. Holy cow. I was not expecting that. I thought this was just red Jasper, but no. It's so much more than that. Holy cow. Shame there's a fracture running right through that area right there. That might make a nice cab. That fracture running through here? Yeah, I see it. Right there it is. So I would probably have to stabilize these if I wanted to cab them. But that's okay. My buddy Jim has taught me how to stabilize rocks. So I can do that. And then we got the rest of the rock here. Well, yeah, it's agate. That is a pleasant surprise. I was not expecting that. Alright, let's find something else to cut in Lazarus. We're burning daylight here. Alright, up next for Lazarus is this big Laguna agate nodule. It's too big for me to cut on the small saw. So I'm going to try and clamp it in the big saw so I can clean up this face and then get at least 1 or 2 cuts off of it and see what it looks like. So let me get this in there and get that going, and then I'll grab something else out of my unfinished business box and we'll cut it on the small saw. Alright, next up for the small saw, I've got this agate nodule found while hunting agates at Lysite Mountain. So this is a Lysite agate. I can't really see into it too well, but there's hints of color here and hints of banding. And it's just thin enough that I can probably cut several edges off with this small saw and we can get a look at what's going on inside. I think I'll start with this edge right here. It looks like it's got some interesting colors in there. So let's see. Let's open it up and see what's really in it. Maybe we'll cut some other sides off of it. Alright, so here's the piece I just cut off of that rock. You can see it's got an empty pocket in it. It was actually got a geode pocket in it. There looks like it's maybe lined with druzy quartz crystals. It's hard to tell in this light. But yeah, there's another empty pocket right there above it. There's one. There's another one with a hollow in the center. And another one over here. It's got some banding around it. Very cool. Let's look at the end of the rock here. Oh yeah. More of the same. Definitely. Oh, look at the colors. Wow. Yeah. I could see that there was some color in there, but it was hard to tell from the outside what was going on. Alright. I think I might need to cut another edge off of this rock. Maybe cut right through here and see what's going on. Might have to tend to Lazarus first. Sounds like it's nearing the end of a cut. Interesting, interesting. We'll have a look at that. Yeah, looks like there's some purple in there too. Probably need to cut deeper into this rock. I'm going to need a bigger saw though, because it's getting a little too thick up here for this small saw. I think I'm going to put this rock back in my unfinished business box and try taking some nice slices off of it with a somewhat bigger saw one day, because I think this rock might have some really pretty stuff inside it. Sure looking like it. Here's the heel I cut off. Nothing special. Had a big void there. But yeah, there's another empty crystalline pocket. So yeah, there might be something good in this rock. So we will set it aside for future consideration. Okay, that Laguna agate nodule is done, and all I have to say is, wow, holy cow. Alright, first off, the heel shattered on me, and I only got a little piece of it here, but I'll tell you what, that is some very transparent chalcedony. You can practically read a newspaper through it. See that? Then the next piece, look at all that mossy pluminess in there. We got some fortification banding up there. Holy cow. Look at that. That is... this may be the best one we've cut so far. Look at this. This is the rest of the rock. I'm going to have to use my rock grabber if I want to cut more slabs off of it, but I don't know, that might just need to be face polished. That's amazing. You know, it's wet with saw oil, but that's what it'll look like when it's polished. Look at that. It's like you can see deep down into the rock. Look at that. Holy cow. Wow. Jim, these are some pretty rocks you gave me. Thank you. Holy cow. Yeah, that is super, super cool. Alright, I gotta quit staring at this and get back down to business. We're burning daylight here. Let's find something else to put in Lazarus. Well, my bench over here is getting covered with cut rocks. It's a good long session at the saw today, but all good things must come to an end. It's starting to look like it's going to rain, and these afternoon thunderstorms tend to bring horizontal rain, lots of lightning and thunder, and water up to my ankles out here in my outdoor lab. So I'm going to bring this to an early halt. We're not going to get to all the rocks I wanted to cut today, but we are going to do this big Mexican geode, and this is a big geode. It does conveniently have a flat spot on the bottom. It also kind of gives me a window into the interior chalcedony. I think I want to cut it right down this line right here. I think I can probably get it close to 2 equal halves. So let me get this loaded into Lazarus. Hopefully we can get it cut and get a good look at it before the weather goes to heck. All right, I've got this big softball size geode clamped in Lazarus, good and tight. So hopefully it's not gonna break loose. Some of these things are hard and the saw drags a little. Everything's tight. Yeah, okay. So I guess we're good to go. Keep your fingers and toes crossed that we get a good cut, and it's a pretty geode on the inside. It's pretty heavy. It might not be hollow, but even if it's not hollow, let's hope for some decent patterns inside. Here we go. Give you a look at it when it's done. All right, here it is. As I feared, it's not hollow, but hey, it's kind of pretty. Look at, you can see deep into it too. Yeah. Looks like it's got quartz crystals in there, chalcedony around the outside. Yeah, there's some nice patterns in the chalcedony and some moss. Dendrites over here. Look at the dendrites. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, up here too. Look at the dendrites. Huh. It's like a little mountain range. Very cool. Alright. Yeah, not the ugliest geode I ever cut by far. That actually would be quite pretty face polished, I think. So I may put that on my pile of stuff that's going to get face polished. That might turn out to be a really pretty rock. Alright, so I'm debating over here about what the best, prettiest rock I cut today was. Is it this Laguna agate over here? Whoa. Yeah. Or was it this lysite agate? Oh, I like them both. I like them both. I'm leaning towards the Laguna. But I do like me some lysite agate too. I'm a big fan of lysite agate. So, hey, leave a comment. Let me know which one you think is prettier. Okay? Or if you have another favorite out of this group of rocks I cut today, let me know. Well, I think this has been a pretty successful day with the saws. Got a lot of stuff here that I can tumble. I got some stuff that I can cab. I got some stuff that I can face polish. And I've got more rocks to go back into my unfinished business box for next time. This one, this one, this one, and this one. They can all go in there for next time. And yeah, these turned out really good. Some of these are beyond my wildest expectations. This is one of my best sessions with the saws, I think. Got some really good stuff here. Some of these you're going to see tumbled in the future. So you'll see cabbing. You'll see face polishing. So subscribe to see those videos. And I am really happy with how this all turned out. There's only a little bitty pile of waste rock up here that's not worth anything. The rest of this is all good stuff. So I'm really happy about that. If you guys are happy, give this video a like, give it a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Bye.